Here we go, everybody. What's up? Okay, so for those of you that are new here, wanted to let you know this is a super laid back call. I love to do a lot of education. I like to get to know you guys. You can have cameras on, cameras off. You can speak up, put it in the chat, ask me later, whatever you want. Always want you guys to know that I am an open book. So please send all the questions my way. If you are worried about doing it wrong, someone else is probably having the same question, and I've probably screwed it up before you have. So may as well learn from my mistakes is always my goal for you. Aside from that, we're going to go through some announcements, and then at the after the announcements, we'll go through the topic, which is the cardio versus the lifting and how to achieve that toned up look that you're after, which is what most people are after. And then at the end, any open Q&A type questions that you guys have, we can jump into, no problem at all. So as far as announcements go, I finished up all the assessments for this week already. So if you turned one in, there's a response in your chat to it. Go check that out, and let me know if you have any questions on it. Remember, I keep those kind of short and sweet, kind of give you 1 to 2 small tasks to tackle moving forward so that you can really focus on just those 1 or 2 small things for the following week to make the most success possible, most progress possible. If I gave you a laundry list of tasks to go and accomplish and change overnight, you're going to be overwhelmed, right? So we keep those very simple. Now, a main takeaway that I'm doing with a lot of people right now, may suggest custom macros and suggestions for some people, right? So we're getting to the point where a lot of people are doing really well with the standard benchmark macros for beginning that the app will set for you based on your specific weight and goals and everything, which is great. And sometimes those work for people the whole way through this process. So if they're working for you, I'm not going to recommend changing anything. However, if you're weight loss kind of slows, or your progress kind of slows, or we're struggling with certain things, we'll start to customize some macros. So that's what that kind of looks like. And we're getting into the process where I have a lot of people getting customized right now. So I will tell you if I think that we need to do that and then explain how to do that. But a couple of things that you might see is a protein increase. So if I am recommending a protein increase, that is going to be because you're telling me that you're really hungry all the time, even though we're hitting macros and calories. That might be a sign that will help a lot to keep you fuller longer, because protein is super satiating, which means when you eat it, it's going to take longer for it to digest. So you're going to stay full a lot longer when you eat that higher protein. It's also going to be the macronutrient that your body is least likely going to turn into body fat. Honestly, your body has a higher thermic effect when you're eating that protein. So that means your body's actually going to burn more calories in order to just break down and digest and utilize the protein. So not only is it not storing it as body fat, it's also going to burn more calories in order to digest and use it. So if we are struggling with always being hungry or having cravings and things like that, we'll probably see that protein number increase a bit. Also, things that you might see is carb and or fat drops. Okay, so if we take you down in carbs, it might be because I see signs of having insulin resistance, or if you have talked to me and you have conditions like PCOS or endometriosis, those kinds of things would be really beneficial to pull carbs down on, probably around that 100 gram per day mark, depending on you, but I'll tell you where I think we should go with it. Aside from that, insulin resistance, if you feel like you carry most of your extra weight in your middle, right around your waistline, your butt, your thighs, that kind of thing, that's going to be a sign of insulin resistance. And having all of that fat accumulate here in your trunk, that is going to be that sign. And pulling back on carbs is going to help your body learn how to utilize carbohydrates more appropriately again, because I'll teach you how to kind of use them mostly in your day. So if you feel like that kind of applies to you, and we haven't talked about that yet, shoot me a message and we can talk it through and see if it's a good option for you. If we drop down fats, it could be because you have a gallbladder removed in the last 2 years. That'd be a good thing to drop fats down on. Your body usually doesn't digest fats very well after having your gallbladder removed recently. So if that's you, let me know. We can adjust things for you. Other ways that reasons we might drop fats down a little bit lower. If you are always super full, you have that opposite end of the spectrum where we're struggling with being too full all the time, then you may see me go ahead and drop your fats down because they're going to be more satiating than carbs are. So we can play with the different ways that your body digests foods to help things be more comfortable for you and your lifestyle. So just want to kind of put that out there. And as we start to customize macros, you kind of have some background about why we we might be making said changes. The other thing I do want to point out before I move to the next piece, carbs and fats are energy sources. Okay, so that's where your body's going to get that energy. Carbs are actually your brain's preferred energy source. So I really don't believe in removing them essentially from your diet. The lowest I really set anybody, like 90 grams of carbs per day, is usually the lowest that I will set you, depending on your specific situation. But most people are somewhere between 100, 120, if not higher. So that's what that looks like. Fats are also an energy source, super important for hormone balance, for brain health, for like overall body function, very, very important. The lowest that I will ever bring your fats is 40. Honestly, I try to keep most women 45 to 50 if we can, depending on you and your specifics. So yeah, that's kind of what those look like. As far as the Invest group, we're having our first retreat in a few weeks, and I can't wait. I'm going to have a few people here. We rented a house. We're going to work out at my gym. We're going to do just hang out and have good time stuff. I'm not really sure where we'll end up as far as like what activities we're going to do outside of working out and hanging out, but we'll figure that out. It's a pretty laid back group, all moms so far. So pretty much we're pretty excited to be here and not have to be in charge of any small humans. And that's going to be super fun. So that's coming up, and the people that are part of that Invest group vote for that monthly winner, and that's who gets to be invited to these things. Upcoming call topics for that, for the Invest in Yourself coaching is going to be optimizing brown fat metabolism. If you didn't know, brown fat is actually as metabolic and helpful as your muscle tissue is. I'm learning so many things. So we're going to learn how to optimize brown fat. It's going to be really good. Importance of hope molecules. And then there is fight or flight management, and then overcoming guilt. So those are going to be our upcoming call topics next month. So that's going to be super fun. Now, as far as tonight's call go, we have the cardio versus lifting. So which is best is what a lot of people ask me. And really that's going to depend on your specific goals. Typically, a mixture is going to be optimal for overall health, right? That's going to be the typical answer. A mixture of cardio and lifting is going to be optimal for overall health. Now, if we have a goal of toning up, there's so many people that say they want to tone up and they don't know what that actually means. So I really want to explain toning up is actually muscle gain and retention. So that's actually body composition change. If you want to tone up, that means that you want to hold onto your muscle tissue and or gain some muscle tissue and lose the body fat on top of it. That's what toning up is. Okay, so when we talk about toning up, that means we have to focus on maintaining the muscle, right? If we don't take care of the muscle we already have, how can we possibly build more, right? That makes sense. We have to hold on to the muscle that we already have if we want to expect to build more on top of it. Otherwise, your body's just not going to hold on to it at all. So tone up. Protein is going to be king when it comes to that. So keep that in mind as far as nutrition goes. You can work out all you want to, you can lift all you want to, you can crush the gym, you can just like leave the sweat everywhere. But if you're not taking care of protein in your nutrition, you're going to chase your tail, right? You are not going to get the result that you want, or it's going to be really, really hard for you to get the result that you want. So keep protein in mind, always with any goal, protein. Then lifting, if you don't, let's see. So if you don't use your muscle and you don't challenge it, you are more apt to lose it. And even more so after age 45 to 50, we really start fighting losing it. So if I have my folks that are, 45, 50 plus on here, then you guys are fighting against sarcopenia as well, which is muscle loss. So we really need to be utilizing and challenging our muscle tissue by doing weightlifting or resistance training of some sort and hitting that protein goal all the time in order to maintain that muscle tissue that you already have. Like if we don't take care of that muscle tissue, then your body's going to get rid of it because it's expensive to hold on to as far as calories go. So when you think about that, that's going to be really, really, really important. When I say that muscle is calorically expensive to carry, what that means is your body needs to account for more calories each day to put towards the maintenance of the muscle tissue that you are constantly working to grow and maintain. So if you're not taking care of the nutrition side of things and you're lifting weights, then your body is going to let the muscle tissue go before it lets the fat tissue go, because the fat tissue is going to take a lot less calories to maintain than the muscle tissue, right? So we need to be not only doing resistance training if you want to tone up, but we really, really need to make sure that we are taking in enough calories and enough protein specifically in order to allow our body to hold on to that muscle tissue and lose the body fat specifically. What do we got going on in here? We've got some chats. Okay. Weightlifting doesn't have to be 200-pound deadlifts. It can be dumbbells and kettlebells. Absolutely, you guys. It doesn't have to be if you're a power lifter, more power to you guys. That's flipping awesome. But if you're working out with resistance bands in your basement or in your living room, super cool too. It's fine. I built a ton of muscle with 225-pound dumbbells, a box, and a yoga mat. And I think I had a slam ball right in my old basement for a year and a half, COVID, right? There it was. That's what I had. And I had excellent results. You don't need massive amounts of weight in order to make this happen. Resistance bands, a couple pound dumbbells, that kind of thing. You can totally make that work. The other day, 2.5 pounds on our cable machine was destroying my upper back. You can make this stuff work. So let's see. I spent 4 years with 15-pound dumbbells and a 26-pound kettlebell. Yeah, exactly. So if you guys are working out at home, you don't need to be buying thousands of dollars worth of equipment either to make this work. So I'm glad you guys pointed that out. Thank you. Okay, next piece. If we don't challenge that muscle through movement, it won't retain and grow. So if you think about this, like think about the guy that you picture in the gym that has massive chest, massive biceps, and you got chicken legs, right? You think of sticks, we go, oh, don't skip that leg day, you guys, right? Because he's just like curls always, right? But then you didn't challenge your quads, you didn't challenge your calves, you didn't challenge your glutes. So you went, right? Your body maintained all the upper body muscle, but then he has no muscle on his legs because he didn't challenge the muscle on his legs. So you have to challenge the muscle in order to maintain and grow it. It's just because you're working out doesn't mean that you're going to be able to maintain muscle if you're not challenging said muscle group. So don't skip leg day. Don't skip leg day. Okay. Right. We want the glutes. We want our butt to sit higher, right? That's the goal. So don't skip leg day. Now, walking and 1 to 2 days of jogging is if desired per week, will be best for most with a tone up goal. You don't necessarily have to do all kinds of pounding the pavement running. That is where a lot of people really get confused. So just walking, on top of things, if you can walk daily for 20 to 40 minutes and do strength training, you're going to have excellent results as far as toning up goes. And I'll explain more of that later. If you want to jog 1 to 2 days a week for a few miles because it just makes your heart happy and you enjoy it, then more power to you. But I wouldn't suggest going jogging every day for a muscle retention goal. I'll explain that shortly. So I have it in my notes next. I guess we'll do that now. So catabolic versus anabolic. I don't know if you guys have heard this before, but catabolic is the breaking down of tissues and anabolic is the building up of tissues. So no matter what in your body, catabolic and anabolic systems are always running at the same time. It just depends which one is doing more at that time per se. So if you're running a lot, right? If you're running daily, then you're going to have probably more muscle breakdown than what you can recover it. So if that happens, then more muscle loss, right? Like we were talking about earlier, more muscle loss, you're going to have a lower metabolism, which means you're going to have more fat storage. Okay. That's not always, I'm not saying if you go running every day that you're going to gain more body fat. It's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that if you run every single day and you don't have a running performance goal, then you're probably going to break down more muscle tissue than what you can gain and recover. And if you break down more muscle tissue than what you can gain and recover, then we're going to only lose muscle tissue. And if we lose muscle tissue, then we're going to lower our metabolism because our metabolism is directly controlled by how much muscle mass we carry. It's not the only thing that controls it, but it's a huge contributor. So if you think about that, and we're running every day and we're trying to tone up, like our goal isn't a running goal, we're just running because we think we're supposed to go running for this goal, then stop running. We don't need to run, go for a walk. I'm not saying like go smell the daisies, you can sometimes, but go be like a professional mall walker. You know, like those really, they're into it, do that, right? Make that happen, because that's going to help you so much more with body fat loss and muscle retention, muscle recovery, if you're doing the walking instead of the running, because the walking doesn't break muscle tissue down near as much as running does. Okay. So that's why we don't see a ton of long distance runners that are built like bodybuilders. Does that kind of make sense? If you guys think about marathon runners, we think about, you know, people that are doing these big, huge running events. Most of them are fairly thin, right? Not overly muscled, which is fine. If that's the look that you're going for, y'all go run. That's cool. All right. But if your goal is to tone up, you want more muscle definition, and you don't necessarily enjoy running, then stop running. We don't need to run. Go pick up some dumbbells. You're going to make progress too. Okay. So don't be like you're trapped, is my essential thing. As far as running performance goals go, if you do have a running goal, like I have girls in here that are ultra marathon runners, like out there crushing hundreds of miles, right? Amazing stuff. Not my style, their style. And I'm happy for them. But protein intake is still going to be imperative for those people, right? Like we just said, running over and over and over and over again is super catabolic. It's super hard on your muscle tissue. So we need to be taking care of that muscle tissue still if you are choosing to go for that running goal. So if you are doing a long run, like that, and it depends on the person, but if you really exerted yourself in a run, I would still do a post-workout recovery with protein and carbs to help your body recover the energy used up, as well as rebuild the muscle tissue. Okay. So body expectations, if you're only running, so if running is your only source of workout, and what you can expect from your body is to probably be like thinner, not necessarily muscular, not necessarily defined, but thinner would be my best way to describe that. You're probably not going to hold on to a ton of extra muscle tissue if you're choosing to only run. Let's see. I also do have most of our long distance runners, when it's like their off season or in between season for running training, they do focus on lifting so that they can hold on to that muscle tissue. So if you have running goals, you like to do races, things of that nature, let me know, and we can absolutely make that work into your schedule too. What about walking on an incline versus running? I would say walking on an incline is going to be better, pending your goals, Carrie, right? So, you know, if you're just trying to go for like a toning up goal kind of thing, I would walk on the incline more often than I would run. Now, if you want to get like your heart rate up short periods of time and have it be just as beneficial as a lifting workout, sprint. Instead of like going for a long run, do interval sprints. You're going to get more of a muscle build recovery type system like you would if you're lifting weights doing that. Okay, sounds good. So main takeaways for that. Most need to choose an aesthetic goal or a running performance goal to chase. So it's going to be really hard to attack both goals at the same time. So make sure that when you are talking to me or deciding on what your goals are, is it aesthetic? Is it how you look? Is it how your clothes fit? Is it how that dress fits? Is it how you look in that bikini or in the swimsuit? Is that the goal? Or is your goal to win the town 10K, right? Which goal do you want? And I'm good with whichever one. I won't judge you either way. I'm good with whatever you want because I want you to get what you want. But I want to make sure that you are ready to understand what to expect from reaching towards that goal at that time. Okay. Both are super, super hard to accomplish at the same time. So please keep that in mind when you're deciding. Something I do want to point out before I open it up to Q&A, something that people get really, really confused on. So I want to make it very clear is how your body is actually burning fat surrounding workouts. And this is going to help hit home for a lot of people. Okay. So you are not burning fat while you're in the gym, and you are not burning fat while you're running. You're not burning fat in those situations. You are using up carbohydrates, glycogen, which is your muscle energy, typically also in your liver. And you're breaking down muscle tissue during gym workouts, lifting sessions, whether that's CrossFit or strength training or resistance bands in your basement, whatever that looks like. If you're going to do those things, or if you're going to go running, we are using up muscle energy and we are breaking down muscle tissue. We are not burning fat in those instances. So where does fat burn come from then, right? So you are using the energy and breaking things down. Recovery with proper nutrition after your workout is key for muscle growth and fat loss. As you guys have heard me say a few times already, the more muscle that we carry, the higher metabolism that you have. So if we can build muscle, we are going to burn more body fat in order to maintain the muscle because your metabolism is naturally higher. So we need to be taking care of building more muscle tissue by doing the resistance training, by challenging those muscles, following the proper recovery with having protein numbers met every day. There's optimal recovery after workouts. We can talk about, if you guys want to talk about optimally recover after workouts with post-workout stack. And then muscle growth, that will equal metabolism, that will equal fat loss, because your calories by the end of the day are in a slight deficit. When they're in a slight deficit and we take care of the protein goal and we're working out, we are working on building, maintaining muscle over here, increasing metabolism over here. Your calories are still a little bit in a deficit underneath what your body requires, which means you're going to burn body fat. Boom. That's how that works. Now, if you are walking utilizes mostly body fat for fuel. So that is how that works. So if you're doing strength training in combination with 20 to 40 minute walks each day or more, right? Your body is going to use mostly body fat for that energy source in order to get through that walk. So you're then meeting it on both ends of the spectrum. You're building more muscle and heightening your metabolism over here, burning body fat because you have more muscle tissue, and you're over here doing walking. And if you're walking and using body fat, that means that you're burning body fat from two different ends. And then your body doing recovery after a lifting session, it can take your body hours and extra energy to recover after a lifting session. All of that energy is coming from body fat. If you run your cards correctly, you're going to use body fat in order to recover after those workouts for all of the energy put towards it. True. Right? So that's why, you guys, I tell you go for a walk, and I tell you to lift up some resistance bands and hit your protein and calorie goals. If you can do those simple, small things, you're going to start seeing that progress more likely than not. I think that that's most of it. So if you guys want, I can talk to you about post-workout stack and explain how that helps you recover. I don't know if that's what you guys want to hear about, or you guys are welcome to ask any questions. Yeah, I could talk about how post-workout stack. Yeah, okay. So you know what, let me go grab it real quick. 1 second. So this is going to be the one time that I say a supplement will trump a whole food. As many of you know, I push for whole foods. I really want you guys eating whole foods because that's sustainable long-term, right? But as far as the post-workout stack and the post-workout setting, your body wants something that is going to digest extremely fast. Right now, right after you get done doing the workout and you're like, oh, I'm so good. I'm going to walk like a baby giraffe tomorrow, right? If you have that feeling, your body's still breaking muscle tissue down. So we need to stop that catabolic process. So first things first, the most important piece is actually a carbohydrate. So this is actually a fast digesting carbohydrate. It's high glycemic. Women, your serving size is a half scoop. I actually recommend most of you use like a quarter to a third most of the time. So if you see the carb number on the back, keep in mind that's for a full scoop. But that's going to help replenish the energy in your muscles that you just used up. Remember, we break down the muscle tissue and we use up energy. It's going to help replenish that energy first. Then this guy, Formula One, is going to shuttle with this to your muscles. And then that's going to start that muscle protein synthesis process, which is going to start that muscle building, repair, growth process. So when we put these guys together after those weight training workouts. It's going to help you build that muscle, build that metabolism, and burn that body fat. I think the other day on the phone with Jody, I was trying to explain how your body works like in caveman time. And we were talking, we were talking about like, if you went out to go hunt, I don't know, hunt an animal. I don't know what we were talking about, antelope maybe. And so say you went out and you scurried around and then you hunted the antelope and you killed the antelope. Okay, cool. So now we've gotten all kinds of walking in. Okay, so we burnt body fat getting to find the antelope. Now we had to like kill it. So I don't know how we kill things back in the day, but then you have to do a workout by pulling this thing back to your cave. I know this sounds ridiculous, but it's true. So think about it this way. How much of a workout is it to drag something dead weight? It's a lot of a workout. So if you're dragging this thing back to your cave, you're using up a ton of that muscle energy and you're breaking down muscle tissue in order to get there. But what do you do when you get there? You eat the animal, which is full of protein, right? It helps you recover faster, or maybe with a side of berries or something that you found along the way, something like that. So that way you're getting your protein and you're getting your carbohydrate. It's going to help you recover a lot faster. This is going to be a whey isolate protein. This is a high glycemic carbohydrate. They're going to be optimal in that situation. You don't want to have a whey concentrate protein or a whole food meal after that if you want it to be optimal. Can you have whole food or a whey protein concentrate? Sure. Is it going to be as optimal as that? No. So hopefully that kind of helps a little bit. Okay, so insulin resistance and how you know if it's an issue. So people that struggle with insulin resistance, typically in their past, they've been really prone to being yo-yo dieters. So people that have like done all of the diets, like everything, everywhere, like your body's just kind of been through it. And if you have done that chronically for a long time, you could be potentially in the running for that. Also, if your past diet history, like me, was something along the lines of, lots of treats, candies, alcohol, fried food, fast food, baked goods, candy, oh God, M&Ms, right? So like you think about that, your body got really used to having this overabundance of very fast digesting carbohydrates and food coming in all the time. And so it got kind of not immune to it, but it adjusted to how much carbs were coming in all the time, that instead of utilizing them appropriately and storing them for muscle energy, they would just start to store as body fat, because carbs and fats that are not used in your body for energy sources and can't be stored in muscles then get stored as body fat for future energy usage as well. So that's how that's kind of designed. So if you're taking in all of these excess treats all of the time for quite some time, then you may notice that like extra body fat right here in your trunk starts to add up. And that is your body's way of telling you, like, I'm protecting you for the future, because it's protecting your main organs from getting cold. So it's telling you, like, you take in all of these excess amounts of energy foods, it starts to put on all of the excess fats in your middle, because it's thinking that it's going to help protect you through a long winter. And you can survive a lot longer without fingers or toes than you can without your organs. So it puts extra fat in your middle in order to keep that warm through a long winter. But here's the thing, we never have that long winter come where we need to utilize that body fat to get through it. Most of us are fortunate to not have to deal with those things. Instead, we're sitting on our couch in the middle of winter, eating Doritos, watching something. I don't know what people watch, but that's kind of how insulin resistance will kind of come up. So it's something you can talk to your doctor about. But if I look at your pictures and I see that we might have some signs of insulin resistance, we'll chat on it and see if there would be some beneficial things that we could look at to try out with you. Well, I hope this was helpful, you guys. If you think of any questions after we hang up, please feel free, reach out, let me know. Happy to help with whatever you guys need. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening, and I will chat with you all later. Bye, guys.